I'm Stephen Marshall, and this is my video log for June of 2022. I am getting to be an old guy, so what I will tell you, I have watched happen. Be warned, this is a bit of an epic poem, but I hope it keeps you interested. I have divided it into sections, and it's okay if you boo for some of it. So to begin, I am frequented by a fear that my work, as has often been true, almost always been true, is unneeded, unwanted, and unheeded. It's as if the world seems to go on as if we have all the time we want, as if we aren't running down the clock to a planetary hothouse, as if we aren't driving our cars until they stop coughing on the last vapors of fossil carbon they will ever breathe. It's as if we aren't spending our money to build new bridges and new highways for cars and trucks that won't have fuel to push them. Oh, no. We will find a way to perpetuate this vast human machine of consumption. All these hundreds of millions of fossil carbon fueled cars and trucks will be replaced by solar powered cars and trucks with dilithium batteries. All of the dreams we have, a modest house next to a meadow with children running around, will come true. Someday everyone will have a boat, and trailer parks will dissolve into clusters of lovely little houses. Everyone will be pop star, a comedian, an influencer, the producer of a blockbuster movie, a super rich Wall Street investor, or a writer of deep and influential novels. Someday, no one will be lonely. The anger will dissipate, and shooters will put down their gun. Someday, no one will be lonely. The anger will dissipate, and shooters will put down their guns. Someday, when people say they want to be rich, they will mean rich in friends. Someday, the money pouring voluntarily from the accounts of the rich will be used to rake all that plastic out of the oceans, and the fish will be left alone to flourish and refill the seas. Someday, the super rich will spend their money until they're just regular people, and they will build desalination plants instead of rockets to escape to Mars. And Salinas valleys around the world will blossom again, and the fruits and vegetables that sustain us. Someday, the great mansions of the rich will be divided into cozy condominiums, while their estates are turned into parks for everyone to enjoy. And the abundance of housing will make it affordable for everyone. Someday, the rains will return to the dry forests, and the mountains will again have their rich fir and cedar. Rains will return to the fire-ravaged landscapes, and the earth will be swaddled in green. Its forests and plains sucking the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, allowing the earth to cool and calm, and deliver 100-year storms only once in 100 years. Of course, and why not? Of course the world will go on as it is, and we have all the time we need to live lives, raise families, generation after generation, and with all these healthy forests, healthy oceans, verdant plains, reliable planting seasons, abundant water, and cheap housing, why not have 5 children per family again? Why worry that we might run out of water? Why worry that we might get crowded out of the job that keeps it all going? Why worry the house will go unpainted? Why worry we couldn't afford to fix that solar car? Why worry that the profit-eager bank will foreclose? Why worry that we might yet again have to buy clean water in bottles that pile up in huge mountains, float to the sea, and plug the gullets of sea turtles? Why worry? Of course we will have more children. This is our faith. We have faith in the infinite capacity of the earth to meet all of our needs. So we will forget to simply relish our blessings. We will forget to be thankful and enjoy the bounty. Couple by couple, we will decide, beyond the two that replace us, to have an extra child. 2 extra. 3. Because who would not want to bring more children into this beautiful world? And if we keep this beauty, and if to keep this beauty, we are entitled to share it with only 2 children, let everyone else keep the rule. I will have as many children as I can afford. The world runs on private personal choice, right? Why would I not fill my yard with toys? Use all the water I can get and push the septic system to its limits. Why not? What is abundance for? But to convert into babies. Of course we will find a way. And again learn that if the earth is already full, we can still fill it again. We can grow forever. Besides, every egg cell is a person. Every mass of cells lodged in a uterus is a person. And we need to liberate every person that hides in an ovary. Every person not even yet created or loved yearns to be bound into a body, created in a body. And when they arrive, they say, "Thank you for bringing me into existence." Because the memory of not existing haunts them, terrifies them. Haven't you heard someone say, "I'm so glad my mother had me," as if reflecting on how much death scares them? Because to think of not being created is to think of dying. Because I am special. I would miss me so much if I wasn't here. Because the earth is infinite, and every possible person must be made. But wait. I'm sorry. That seems absurd. Isn't the number of uncreated humans unbounded? Even perhaps infinite? Doesn't a fertile woman easily carry 400 possible human beings in her ovaries? Are you calling for every woman to produce as many babies as she possibly can? Are our duties not to those who are alive? Has no one noticed that for those who are created, for those who have been born and loved, that to have lives worth living, we, the living, might simply decide that uncreated persons do not need to be created? Are not those who are born the representatives of those who have not been created? And is it not our duty to take care of the earth for future representatives of the potential to life? Is it not our duty to balance our numbers and our consumption so that life might flourish? I will not be missed. I, Stephen Marshall, was born fourth of 6, third of 5 that lived. And if my parents had stopped at 2, I would not have been born. I would not have been born. And if I had not been born, would I be missed by you? Would you be saying, there is something missing from this cosmos? Essays, beautiful, rounded, passionate, rational, angry, apocalyptic, because I write them. I can feel them, but I cannot read them. They are uncreated. Where is the person who would have written them? Well, I am here. But even now, you do not ask. So why would you miss me if my parents had stopped at 2? Would I miss me if my parents had stopped at 2? If I had not been born? The joys, sorrows, the pain, the poetry, the loneliness, the love I have made with the women I have loved, the wreckage that my life has been, and these words would not have happened, nor would they have been needed. nor would they have been missed. I would not have noticed, nor would anyone else. That I would not have been born does not frighten me. I am. I exist. I am entitled to exist because I exist now. But if I had not been born, I would not exist. And that would be okay. How many? Had I not been created, would I have noticed? If you had not been created, would you have been noticed? How can a person who has not been created even notice they have not been created? Would any of the 400 persons in potentia a healthy woman carries in her own ovaries ever notice I do not exist? How many of that 400 might have been a genius who would solve all our problems, who would create grand new art, who would lead the world to peace? How many of these 400 do we sacrifice because we cannot realize every potential human being? How many brilliant scholars, artists, writers, musicians, politicians, or scientists do we need when the world is overfull and the vast planetary ecosystem teeters on the brink of collapse? Do the uncreated even suffer? Can they even be harmed? The world is full of us who have been created. Can we not, at some point, be happy with the supply of people we have? Can we not happily allow that supply to dwindle to a level the earth can sustain? We need only a steady stream of one child, even fewer, at most 2 children per couple. So there are always people who can have babies and new members of our community. That's it. That's all we need. The uncreated are super abundant. The uncreated are super abundant potentialities that our bodies produce in the event they are needed. And for the sake of life, they are not needed. We can let them go. Let the 99.5% of uncreated persons be uncreated. Because until they are created, they aren't. They don't exist. Their potential is held in reserve if they are needed. And they aren't. We can let them go. So stop it too. So what if the returning soldiers of World War II had not been told to repopulate? Did not have the testosterone of victors bent on filling the world with their children? We're not coming home to an industrial civilization with the cheapest, most convenient energy source in human history at its ready, in need of workers to populate its factories, in need of consumers to buy its goods. What if the returning soldiers of World War II had stopped at 2? What if all the peoples of the world just stopped when 2 had survived? Would these children of more than 2 be truly missed if the parents of 2 had been able to educate those 2, had been able to give them playful childhoods? Would the extra children be missed if these parents did not need to send their 2 to work or to be sold, to pay for food, to feed their more than 2? Would these 4 billion be missed? Would these 4 billion be people that have been added since World War II be truly missed? If fewer fish had been caught, if less plastic had filled the oceans, if less fossil carbon had been burned, if the glaciers were not melting, if the polar bears still had ice to hunt from, if permafrost did not threaten to release methane? Would the 4 billion be missed if fewer houses had been built, if fewer trees had been cut, if forests still stood, if farmland were not carved up for development, if wilderness were not converted into suburbs, if the cities were less crowded, if developers had sold fewer houses to fewer people and accumulated less profit? Would the 4 billion be missed if fewer factories dumped chemicals into the groundwater, if industrialists had not needed so many manufacturing lines or employees, had fewer goods to sell, and made less profit? Would the 4 billion be missed if car companies had sold fewer cars, if oil companies had sold less gasoline, and the world had fewer rich people who made less profit? Would the 4 billion be missed if the militaries and dictators had fewer soldiers to send them to die defending the right of the rich to get richer? If the need to protect the profit engine of the world economy was not as sharp, would these 4 billion have been missed? If bankers could have collected fewer deposits and made fewer loans, and fewer businesses could have been invested in, and they all made less profit, would the 4 billion people that have been added since World War II be truly missed? Let's take stock. If my parents' generation had been less fertile, we might then still have an Earth with 300 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We might still have an Earth that could give us the wood, the fish, the water, the food, the wilderness, the power, the waste absorbance that we need to live the lives we today feel entitled to live, and that back then might have been sustainable. And we might have shared the abundance, possibly forever. But today, with 4 billion more people, with 4 billion more consumers, with 4 billion more waste producers, and 4 billion more ambitious, deserving people who exist, it is not possible. It is not. This is not sustainable. Regret. And the regret is that we did not listen to our scientists, that we let the greed is good economists, that we let the 2 and 4 year term politicians, that we let the masters of propaganda lead us. The regret is that we let ourselves be guided by our own hedonic need for comfort and fecundity. The regret is that we are not wiser, stronger, and braver. Reprise as if. But no matter. Let us go on as if the world were in a perpetual, graciously renewable cycle. As if the waste is all duly converted back to nutrients. As if all the metals we extract from the earth are recharged from the core like nectar. As if the oil will flow forever. As if that key molecule in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide, can be captured as quickly as it is produced, converted back to coal, gas, and oil. As if there was an organism in the world eating up all the plastic. And as if the Earth's atmosphere is in no danger. As if. Let us live as if. As if. We, Cassandra, mine is not the only voice crying out for change, but it seems we, our voices, echo back in words we did not speak. You, your voice, your genius is unneeded, unwanted, indeed unwelcome. This world cares not for you, Cassandra. You may be silent. No, we will not. Because we do exist. We did come into this world. We belong here, and we will defend it.